Sylvester, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have to cross live now to Abuja, where Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff and other security chiefs are briefing the media on national security.
That we have security challenges almost all over the country, but we saw the need to continue to deliberate, to collaborate, to cooperate together in order to address these challenges. In line with the concept of my operations, which is people-centric, we want to inform Nigerians on what it is that is being done to address the security situation. So many successes have been achieved, but yet there's still work to be done. We're not where we want to be, but we're heading there and we're on the right path. I want to use this medium to thank all our troops and all Nigerians for their commitment, for their sacrifice. We know that the security situation is not as expected, but we want to call on all of us that this is the time that we need to come together as one people, as one country, in order to tackle the menace of banditry, of terrorism, of cultism, of armed
and other security agencies in the front line for the very hard jobs they are doing within prevailing circumstances and also available resources. I think they are doing great, and we should always commend them for the hard work. In the Northeast, we've been able to achieve relative security environment thanks to the commitments of the troops in the Northeast Theater of Operation and also other security agencies. We successfully conducted Operation Desert Sanity, Operation Mountain Sanity, and also Operation Lake Sanity 3, and recorded successes. It is those successes recorded in these operations that underpin the stable security environment in the Northeast, particularly the Borno area. There have been huge returns. Approximately 170,000 locals have been able to return to their homelands in Borno, Yobe, and other states. There has also been a location of IDPs, about 60,000 IDPs, in conjunction with the Borno state government, thereby decongesting some of the IDP camps. Our adversaries, about 225,517 terrorists and their families, have so far surrendered. And also, those in Wawa cantonment have been successfully moved to Operation Safe Corridor Gombe as part of our non-kinetic lines of operations. Statistics on major roads that have been reopened, on markets that have been reopened, also shows that the troops in the Northwest have done well and economic activities have increased. The farming planting session was also good. We are working towards ensuring that the harvest is also as successful as planted. So Borno Northeast remains a success. Going down to other theaters in the North Central is also stable, less the challenges we will have in the Shiroro areas in Niger State and also some other areas within the same state. However, we are tackling the situations as part of the overall challenges we have in the Northwest. The rest of the North Central is relatively stable. Operations of militia groups in Benue and Nasarawa states have been reduced. Likewise, the spate of kidnapping in these general areas. In the South-South, we've recorded huge successes based on the directive of Mr. President to the CDS to anchor and direct the operations in the South-South to ensure increased oil production. That has been achieved to a reasonable extent, and the outcome of that directive is that we have a central command and control of all our operations in the South-South Operation Delta Safe under the Commander Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe. We've also been able to establish a joint intelligence fusion center to increase situational awareness. We've also been able to establish and deploy a joint monitoring team to be able to monitor what our troops are doing, monitor what all the stakeholders are doing, towards ensuring accountability in the entire process. And our operations in this area was based on key 4 pillars. First was offensive operations, which were conducted to clearly clear all major infractions along key pipelines, particularly the Trans-Niger pipeline and other areas as identified by the NNPC. We've also been able to carry out deterrent operations, having cleared those areas, deterrent operations to ensure that oil thieves and militants do not have access to pipeline routes. That entails increased physical deployment, increased ISR, increased choke point operation by the Navy and the land forces, and also physical domination. We are aware that there are also some bad eggs within the security agencies, so we're able to also mount an accountability line of operation, which means that troops and other security agencies are clearly monitored to ensure that they remain professional in the conduct of their duty. And to a large extent, they have remained professional in the conduct of their duty. There's also a wider government and community engagement. Community engagement in the sense that we believe that the oil communities are key to addressing the challenges in the Niger Delta. And to that, we've been sufficiently able to engage the state government, we've been able to engage the communities to ensure that we'll have a comprehensive approach, we'll have a holistic approach to tackling the challenges in the Niger Delta. And I want to assure you that that is instrumental to the success we've achieved. Today, to have about 100% terminal factor along the key oil pipelines, I think that is massive. If we can remain at that level, then the directive of Mr. President to work towards having a 2 million barrels per day is achievable within the next few months. Moving down to other theaters of operation. In the southeast, the situation in the southeast is also stable. A large number of IPOB and ESN have been neutralized, and also there is also a noticeable containment in their ability to enforce sit at home on Mondays. Sit at home on Mondays was a key weapon of IPOB, fully weaponized, that now that we have begun to reduce the ability of that sit at home to impinge on socio-economic activities, the effect of IPOB in the region is gradually reducing. There are one or two targets here and there. Of late, there have been targets of police station, there have been targets of some local government headquarters, but the armed forces is working towards addressing these areas and ensuring that the ability of IPOB to undermine the authority of both the state and the federal government is contained and reduced to the barest minimum. In the North Central, again, we also have a stable security situation. The crisis in Plateau State have fully stabilized because of the stabilization of operations. Also, militia operations in Benue and Nasarawa is also being reduced through the activities of troops deployed in those areas. In the southwest have always remained very peaceful. We've noticed of recent increased smuggling of petroleum around the borders. And to address that, the size of our operation in the northwest, Operation Awese, is seeing increase. The troops at the border, the units are being integrated in this operation to ensure that petroleum products are not moved across the border to the detriment of our national economy. We are also aware that there are intelligence reports on possible movement of terrorists and bandits towards Kanji National Park. That is being addressed. The Air Force is on top of it. There's increased ISRs, and troops are also being deployed to ensure that nobody gains foothold in the Kanji National Park. I can assure you that we are on top of this situation. Now to the northwest, which is where we are having key challenges. We clearly agree with the challenges in the northwest, and they need to address it. And to address it, the CDS have directed a holistic review of the entire operation in the northwest to make it more effective, and that we are currently doing. And it's one of the main reasons why all the heads of the security agencies are here. So we can put heads together and plan a much more comprehensive operation on how to tackle the situation. Of course, we are not forgetting the need to carry along the key stakeholders, which are the state government, the community heads, and we are doing that. The CDS and the Minister of State for Defense was in the northwest about the last 2 weeks to engage with critical stakeholders on the best way to solve this problem. And very soon, I assure Nigerians, you're going to see a change because the operation is being fine-tuned, and that will be launched very soon. We are also aware of the external dynamics that undermine the national security in the northwest, particularly the issues in the Sahel. And because of our appreciation of the need to ensure that that issue is reduced, the CDS was able to successfully conduct a visit to Niger. And I think that visit was an icebreaker in the sense that it was about the first time that the Nigerian authorities agreed and fully hosted a delegation from our country. That means they are opening up. They are opening up on how we can be able to solve the problem, on how we can be able to increase the bilateral relation between both countries. A communique was issued at the end of that visit and which has been released, but just for effects, I will just highlight few key things that was agreed on. First was that both parties reaffirmed their commitment to resuming and strengthening collaboration with a view to ensuring regional stability and security. Both parties reaffirmed that Nigeria is universally known for adherence to its principle of good neighborliness and would not be used to destabilize Niger or any of Nigerian contiguous neighbors. Niger affirmed its readiness to resume active participation in security operations under the multinational joint task force. I want to believe that was a major hit and a major success, because before now Niger has withdrawn. And for this, because of this visit, Niger have agreed to return back to multinational joint task force. The Chief of Staff of the Nigerian Armed Forces accepted the invitation from the Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff to visit Abuja, Nigeria, where they will finalize the modalities of the cooperation. They also agreed on the creation of a Nigerian advisory group to interface its Nigerian counterpart with a view to addressing the various issues of mutual concern, as well as sustaining lines of communication between both countries. They agreed that the advisory group should have joint mandate of developing measures towards strengthening bilateral relationship, and they agreed to convene at a mutually acceptable date to discuss arrangements for the resumption of bilateral cooperation. I think the last one is instructive. Arrangements for the resumption of bilateral cooperation. If both countries work together, I want to agree that it will help reduce some of the challenges we'll have in the Northwest, and it will also help in finding a lasting solution to that. Now, despite the successes the armed forces have achieved in the course of its operation, there are also some issues that needs to be clarified, particularly in terms of our civilian harm mitigation program and also force protection. We are all aware that the Tudunbiri incident was a setback for the armed forces, for the community, for the nation at large. But I want to report that so much has been done to put that incident behind us. The federal government, the state government, and the armed forces have done a lot to ensure that Tudunbiri is up and running. First, the federal government, under the Vice President, did the groundbreaking for a settlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict in the village in July 2024. It was a holistic approach of providing infrastructure and services to better the community. Also, the federal government, through NEMA, donated relief materials to the community. Now, the Kaduna State government also constructing a 5.5-kilometer asphalt road that will link to the Mbiri community with its surrounding villages and towns. The state government is also constructing a skill acquisition center and a modern primary school and also health center to serve the community. And in addition, the state government have disbursed about 275 million from the money donated by individuals, public and private institutions to injured victims and families of these victims. The military, on our part, we have been able to station a permanent deployment in that location, which has increased the security around Tudunbiri and also adjoining areas. As part of our CIMIC, we've been able to carry out medical outreach in Tudunbiri, and the military has also taken out boundaries to maintain the area, making it much safer. Apart from these issues, the military is also committed to increase its air-to-ground integration, training, and capability. A lot of resources are being channeled to that, and the whole idea is to ensure that incidences like Tudunbiri do not happen again. We are committing to make sure that our operation fully have plans for civilian harm mitigation. Also, we have some challenges in the Okuama community. Some people have been asking, what has happened about Okuama? What has happened about the bandits? I want to assure you that the killing of 17 personnel of the armed forces will not go unpunished. Those responsible, we are hunting them, we are looking for them. It will take time, no doubt, but the military will surely bring them to justice, as directed by Mr. President. So I want to assure Nigerians that it's not gone. Remember how long it took to get Bin Laden? It takes a lot of effort. but justice will surely prevail. So we are working on that. Apart from working on that, we are also working towards making sure that our troops are properly protected. We want to ensure that troops are always configured in such a way that no matter the situation, that force protection element, that ability of the troops to defend themselves while carrying out activities are respected. So we are working on that. And also our rule of engagement and posture is also being improved. You know, the danger of asymmetric threat is that calibrating how you operate to ensure that the majority of law-abiding citizens are not unnecessarily undermined, and also being able to apply the right amount of force against the adversary. That is the biggest challenge in asymmetric warfare. How do you balance that a person who is innocent have the ability to live his life, go about his normal activities, and also being able, within the same breath, to identify the adversary and give him a mortal blow. So we are working on these issues. On the whole, I want to assure Nigerians that the armed forces remain capable, ready, willing to carry out its constitutional duties of protecting Nigerians, and that will continue to do. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a detailed briefing by the Chief of Defense Training and Operations, Major General Emeka Onumajuru. Thank you, sir. Before we start the question and answer session, may I also announce that News Central is also showing this meeting live. Thank you. At this point, sir, with your kind permission, may I, sir, request you to move your session. All right.
You've been watching a live press briefing from the Chief of Defense Staff in Abuja on the security situation in the country. While acknowledging that the security situation is still a bit tense, the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, says a lot of progress have been made, especially in the northern part of the country. He says about 170,000 displaced persons have returned home in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa State. A number of terrorists and their families have also surrendered to the authorities. In the Niger Delta region, security forces have reduced issues of militancy, oil theft, and pipeline vandalism, which is expected to boost oil production in the country. And in the southeastern part of the country, the Defense Headquarters says the activities of IPOB and ESN have been reduced through the weakening of their Sit-at-Home Monday directive. Externally, the Defense Headquarters says it is also working on combating threat from the Sahel region through stronger cooperation with the authorities in Niger, who have agreed to return to the multinational joint task force.
My name is Sir, my question is about the issue of communities being able to bandits. On September 3rd, we had a report of where 140 people were killed in Mapa community in Yobe State. And then 2 days after that, 34 people more were killed. And this was as a result of the fact that there was delay in payment of babies. And 3 commanders of Israel were killed by troops. So I don't know if the military is looking at it. Yesterday, there was also a report of Bello Tuji in Hori community demanding that every married man in that community will pay 10,000 naira, and then unmarried will pay 2,000 naira for his cow that were killed. This is also as a result of the ladies that is being placed on the community. So I don't know if the
so much, sir. And my name is Ferdinand from Arise News. Well, quickly, please, sir, I just want to find out as regards the situation with concerning safeguarding schools. Now, we know that the Safe School program was launched a couple of years back, but we haven't seen anything about it, and our schools continue to remain vulnerable. As children return to schools and parents are worried, what are the assurances that the schools will be safe? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So I request the CDS to please.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your questions. Let me start from this last one. Assurances for school safe school program. Basically, schools have been on holidays and they're just about returning now. So efforts have been made to ensure that we provide necessary security in all the schools. Those ones that are isolated, actions are being taken to ensure that it's either they are placed together where security could be provided, because we have so many thousands of schools scattered all over. So efforts have been made to make sure that we position them in such a way that troops will be able to respond in case there are any attacks or threats to the lives of the pupils in this school. So it's an ongoing operation. And again, to jump into what we mentioned about the visit to Sokoto, ideally we have overviewed the entire operation and realized that we need to harmonize our operations together. If you notice, we have Operation Hadarin Daji and Operation White Stroke, both within the Northwest region. We have seen the need for us to harmonize those operations into one operation like we did in the Northeast, where you have Operation Hadinkai. The same thing is being done now for the Northwest operation. We have one unified operation. It's going to be called Operation Fansan Yamma. Fansan Yamma, for those of us that know, it's securing the West. Now, the intention is to ensure that we synergize all our efforts in addressing the security challenges in the Northwest. It's been their tradition for the bandits to be able to flow between the states within them. So now what we're doing is that since we're harmonizing the whole operation, they will come under one commander. And then the commander will be able to utilize all the equipment and troops together to ensure that we address this critically. And I think that's the best solution we have for it. And I can assure you, all the assets that is required to do that will be done. The intention of the bandits is to just show that they are present. It is acts of criminality. And that's why we're appealing to Nigerians not to provide any support. If you remember the last time we had this issue where our APC was, the MRAB was bogged down and the terrorists came, it was some people that called them and told them that the troops were having issues with their vehicle and they should come around, and they came in mass. That's what exactly happened. And that's why we're appealing to individuals. If you think these guys are on your side, they're a bunch of deranged individuals that have no allegiance to anybody. Today you think you are with them, tomorrow they are coming after you. It's just like training monsters. When you train monsters, when they grow up, they definitely will be the next victim. So we appeal to Nigerians not to allow themselves to be cowed. And like it is also said, we also appeal that for us to maintain security, the armed forces and security agencies cannot be everywhere. We will try as much as possible to be there, but we're going to build the capacity of the locals to be able to defend themselves for a while before the military will come in. That we have adopted in the Northeast with the civilian JTF, with the hybrid forces, and it has worked. We're also trying to do the same thing. We're working with the state government. We're not working in isolation. We know the relevance of the communities. We know the relevance of the state governments. So we're working as a team to ensure that we address these issues together. And the issue of Truji, like I said, it's just a deranged individual that feels power, but I can bet you that it's just a matter of time. A matter of time, we're going to get this, and I can assure you, within the shortest possible time, we're going to address that issue on paying. On the issue of payment, that is what they live on, and it shows you the desperation they are in. One, even when they get the money, they don't have where to use it. Two, is that the money they're getting, they know it's blood money. And that is why we all must come together to work with members of the armed forces and security agencies to deny them the ability to move freely within our communities. Please do not give them any support. Do not give them information on the movement of troops, because this is what is really happening. Most of the area where this thing is continuing is because we have informants within the communities. And like I've always reminded Nigerians, that asymmetric warfare is something that should not be allowed to commit, because once it starts, it's a very difficult operation. You are dealing with non-state actors that are not wearing, you don't know them, but they know you. And within the communities, if you don't have the support of the community, it makes it extremely very difficult. So we will continue to do the best we can, and I can assure you that we're going to get them very, very well. You can see from the table here, we are working together with all security agencies. None is left behind. And the import is that we're going to now leverage on our strengths to be able to go further, whatever it is. The armed forces will move further, and then the other ones will follow. Wherever it is that we're able to liberate, the other security agencies will follow up our garrison. Our intention is to make sure that life returns to normalcy in Nigeria. It's a work for all of us together, including members of the press. Please, we're not saying you should not do your reporting, but please report in such a way to add courage, to add the morale, increase the morale of our men. Because when they are being insulted, when they are being accused of not doing it, demoralizes them. And when they are demoralized, they cannot give you the best. But again, we appreciate all you have been doing, and we'll continue to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. With these comments by the CDS, we have come to the end of this media briefing. On behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, I want to thank you so much for providing time here, and for the media stations that do this live. Thank you very much. We hope others will do the same next time. So before we go, sir, I would like to request for approval of the program.
Okay, so we'll go for it.
Well done, sir.
Well done, thank you.
Well done, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, well done. Let's go to the